Welcome to the Jeep booth at the 2020 Chicago Auto Show. And Jeep just rolled out not one, not two, but three new special editions, Gladiator and also Wranglers. And in this video, we're going to show you first this high altitude edition, right, Nathan?
That's right. We're going to do a nice walk around, give you some details.
But at the end, we have a chassis, chassis we can show you hands-on on the new Mojave Gladiator.
Yeah, you know what's really cool about that? You'll be able to see exactly where the space went underneath.
Yes, and if you saw the Super Bowl, you probably saw the commercial that Jeep had, Groundhog's Day.
Yeah, with Bill Murray.
And we have a surprise here in this video, but the high altitude trim is quite unique. It's a more luxurious trim. And Nathan, I've never seen this before, but they put a 20-inch wheel on the Gladiator and also on the Wrangler high altitude.
A lot of Jeep purists right now are throwing themselves off small buildings because of this color combination, on top of the fact that these wheels are so massive, which means not exactly ideal for off-roading, but a lot of people don't off-road with these things, right?
Yeah, but what Jeep was saying at this presentation they just did in Chicago is that some customers were asking for this. So maybe more urban customers wanted more style. And what high altitude gives you is actually body-colored components like mirrors, door handles, fenders, and a roof, obviously, and just combines it all together, but also interior. Let me show you. And do you see who is inside?
Oh, look at that. It's a bloody gopher. No, wait,
yes. He's not a gopher, he's a groundhog.
Yeah, but it's Bill Murray. I like the gopher better.
No, but guys, check this out. This high altitude also gives you kind of the quilted look on the leather seats. Jeep has not announced pricing yet, but Jeep says the high altitude version of the Gladiator will be available in Q2, so second quarter. And so in a couple months, these should be arriving brand new.
That's right, it's very nice. And on top of that, you still have, there's more styling back here. You can really see what they did with the
bumpers,
color.
yeah,
exactly, the painted bumpers. So the color coordination is interesting. Plus, they've done a few things in terms of really bringing out the Jeep logo back here with some nice trim around it.
And this one, of course, has a tonneau cover as well. So let us know in the comments below what you think about this. Let's show them what the Wrangler high altitude looks like. And this is really just kind of a blacked out Jeep because it's got black wheels, black paint everywhere. Look at this, the front bumper is also painted. I've never quite seen a Jeep like this.
I have, but usually it's some guy who'll take it and actually lower it or put massive wheels on it and not take it off-road. The thing about this is that what you're getting out of this is a lot of color, a lot of trim that you wouldn't be able to get in another vehicle. And that's one of the components about this that makes it unique. So all of this color added into one, that's really what makes this special.
And it's impossible to see because the stage is kind of dark.
The stage is dark and this thing is
But the same features are included here. The interior features, the wheel packages, the painted door handles, painted mirrors. So it's kind of a more premium look on this Wrangler high altitude edition. But we're not done yet.
No, we're not, because there's the Mojave edition, which we're going to cover right now. Now, the cool thing about the Mojave edition is that it is only available with the Gladiator.
Yes, and it's a whole new thing they're doing here, and I'm kind of excited. And I've asked Jeep a couple questions about the future, and they're not answering me. But look at this, they have a new badge. So if I can show you right here, it says desert rated. So it's not trail rated.
It's desert rated.
So for the Rubicon, right? We all know the Rubicon edition of Jeeps, both for the Wrangler and the Gladiator, and that's basically for rock crawling. Right. They're rated on the Rubicon Trail in California, and it's more slow speed off-roading, right? And Jeep is saying this new badge, the desert rated badge, is for high speed sand dunes.
Okay, so the big question is, why is it labeled that? And I think some of that has to do with what I see underneath.
Yes, dude, and we'll look at the chassis in a second, but inside there you see 2.5-inch body Fox shocks, and it's retuned for high-speed off-roading. Jeep just announced the specifications. The engine remains the same, although check out that hood because there's a big kind of a hood scoop. We haven't popped the hood yet. I don't know if it's gonna work here on this show truck, but still a 3.6 liter Pentastar.
Right.
So if you're expecting an electric plug-in hybrid or a V8 Hemi,
you're gonna have to wait.
It's not here.
Yeah, including the diesel, not here yet. But let's have a look at that interior because it is unique.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check it out. And very nice leather. And they have kind of like this orange gold color combined with white and light colors. And Mojave is everywhere. There's stitching, there's Mojave emblems and stickers and decals. And the tires are 33-inch tall tires. So kind of a similar setup to a Rubicon. But look at this rock rail, dude.
Yeah, it looks like the real thing.
And this one on stage even, it's got some sand because it went through a bit of water to get here.
Oh, I'm okay with that. That's how
So
they're
it's
supposed
really
to be.
awesome. Piggyback reservoirs in the back. And we'll show you a better look at the chassis in a second. But just take a look at the entire thing. And they said they also modified the four-wheel drive system for higher speed, for low driving.
Which would make a lot of sense if you're in a lot of loose sand and you're bouncing around on dunes. And that's exactly what they wanted to do. There are other vehicles out there that can do that, like the Ford Raptor, which I think to a lesser extent this sort of competes with. All it needs is a lot more power, and that would be far more interesting. The good news here is that for those of you who've always wanted a Jeep pickup truck that can actually hit the dunes, here it is.
Yeah, so it's no longer, if you are going to the dunes, if you want high-speed off-roading, you don't have to buy a Rubicon anymore.
Yeah.
Right, because a lot of people use the Rubicon for multi-purpose.
Right.
Right, so Jeep is saying, don't get the Rubicon, get this.
Right.
And I asked them, is the Mojave trim coming to other Jeeps? They said no comment, no future planning, you know.
No comment, typical line from PR. But a couple questions. When is this going to be available? Do you know?
Also Q2. So second quarter of this year, 2020, Mojave, pricing is not announced yet. But dude, let's look at the chassis.
All right. Now this is something that's really cool because you don't have an opportunity very often to look at the chassis of a vehicle. And when you do, it's usually convoluted and there's extra stuff and colors. This is a nice stock looking chassis.
Yeah, and a couple of items to kind of feature. Jeep did say that they reinforced a few components.
Right.
So they're kind of color coding some of this chassis components, and they said they made the frame a little bit more beefy, so a little bit more meat, because if you are kind of coming off over the crest and you're in the air, you want to have the chassis that supports maybe a small jump. I mean, they didn't talk about jumping performance, but the new desert rated badge includes a lot of other capability like control and high-speed suspension control.
Now you can really get a good idea of what they had to do in order just to build the Gladiator in the first place, because you're talking about a vehicle that is substantially longer than the Unlimited Wrangler. And this gives you an idea of how much longer, because really we're talking like that much.
Yes.
And a lot of that does go to the spare tire in the back. And they did some interesting stuff with packaging because they were able to get the exhaust nice up and high and tight. Look how high that goes. That's pretty much up to this cross member over here.
A lot of articulation is up to 21 inches articulation.
Right.
The ground clearance is similar to the Rubicon, so
Right.
if you're expecting this thing to be jacked up in the air, it's not.
Yeah, and if you're curious about that breakover angle, well, this really explains it considering how bloody long this is. This is a very long truck.
So we have the transmission. They're keeping the 6-speed manual, they
Thank
said.
God.
Thank you, Jeep. They also have the automatic, the 8-speed. This is your transfer case. So it does have a 4-low, like we said, 4 high or 4 low.
Does it have a locking rear diff and all that stuff like the Rubicon?
Yes, and they said you can now lock the rear diff in 4 high. You
That's
weren't able
cool.
to do that before. Now you can go high, all wheels spinning basically.
Very cool. Now, does it have a disconnecting front sway bar like the Rubicon?
Let's look. Let's take a peek. Also, steering stabilizer. So
Ooh,
I
I
don't know
think
if
I
you
see
can
it over
that.
there.
Yeah. So first, the steering stabilizer is right here, which is kind of important for high speed off-roading. And let's see, do we have a disconnecting sway bar?
Isn't this it, Tommy?
It's right there.
Yeah. So it's right here.
And is
So-
it, yeah.
Yeah. So it's electrically disconnecting. See?
Yeah, there's two actuator.
That's the reservoir, actually, for the shock.
And there's another reservoir. Absolutely. Look at this line.
Oh,
it
look
goes
at that.
all
Yeah,
the way
up
over
and
here
over.
to this big giant Fox shock. So
God, I didn't even realize that.
Jeep continues its partnership with them, and this is kind of a factory. I mean, this is a factory installation. Basically, they tucked it out of the way.
Wow, Fox is really killing it.
what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I did not realize what that was. That's so cool.
And when I talked to Fox guys, when I met some of them at SEMA,
Uh-huh.
a lot of people are worried about if you have a remote reservoir so far away from the shock, which you're getting like delay, basically.
Yeah, because
But-
it has to travel through the line.
Right, but they have one-way valves also. I'm not sure if this system has that, but so you can actually so the fluid doesn't go back and forth, but it can actually travel in a smart way.
From one way to the other,
Yeah.
stopping and not having to just pull out. I get it.
I'm gonna go check on the sway bar disconnect.
Okay, so yeah, dude. So this is really, really cool, and I cannot wait to take this into the dunes and actually figure out how this works. Actually, in the real world.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to take the body of my Suzuki and put it right here, and then have a more powerful Suzuki that can go off-road. Ooh, that would be really cool.
Okay, there's a quick correction. We just
Okay.
checked with Jeep.
Yeah.
Not a disconnecting front sway bar.
Okay.
So we were mistaking that those reservoirs.
Yeah, that's
for actually.
because it was right there. Yeah.
Correct. So sorry about that, guys. But still, of
We
course,
fixed that.
a front solid axle is there. Dude, I was hoping for a big Hemi. Weren't you hoping for that too?
Nope. I want a
Oh.
twin turbocharged V6
Oh. Okay.
with a manual transmission.
All right, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this really, hands-on look at the new Jeep lineup. I'm pretty excited, but of course I want more. And Jeep also announced that they're doing plug-in electric vehicles, and it's going to have it across the line by 2022.
Right, and we'll have more on that in the near future. Guys,